Hi, I'm Bruce Waller, and I am talking with Stephen MacKintosh, also known as Coach Mac, on the importance of physical and social interaction. Stephen is the co-owner and director of programs at Group Dynamics, a team building organization located in Carrollton, Texas. He's also involved in NAF, Neuro Assistance Foundation, an organization helping those living with spinal cord injury and disability. And so I just wanted to kind of start off our conversation and ask you just to share your experience and how NAF helps individuals connect.
About my experience about NAF, you mentioned group dynamics as being team building, which it's team building is all about connection. We're close together, we're relating, we're in conversation, we're sharing. And then NAF is that organization that brings that to those living with the injury of spinal cord and their families, and just kind of relate and give perspective of what that is all about. I myself am paralyzed from the shoulders down. They call me a C5, incomplete, which basically means I have virtually no functional use of my arms, hands, or legs. And I went from being primary team building instructor to being flat on my back. And it's a, well, for lack of a better word, a fascinating journey where you're going from being vital to something where you, by a blink of the eye, go into really immobility and you're just out of circulation. You're injured. You go into the hospital and they repair you. Then you get transitioned into rehab where they try to teach you and your family how to live with life. And then you go back into your home and you're back into trying to socialize and connect again. And essentially your whole world has stopped. And now you're at that tipping point of how do you live your life? How do you connect? How do you find your self-worth?
That's interesting. We're going to talk a little bit more about connecting because I think that's really, really important that you brought that up. I think even today we can all relate during the pandemic. Many of us are now stay at home working and we're trying to figure out how to connect. I'm wondering if you could just share a little bit about how you got involved with NAF and what you personally experienced being involved in that organization.
Well, my first interaction is, again, I met with Cindy Cooperman really through one of my caregivers who works for HRA, and she was connected with NAF. She said, "Hey, Mac, I think you would get great value if you came to one of our events," and it was the Hot Hatch Chili Race, which was 2 years ago. So off I went, got into my wheelchair. She helped me, and off I went with my wife, and we joined this event. And Bruce, I was absolutely amazed. I went to a place where there were family members, caregivers, people in wheelchairs, people on hand cycles, all these people living with paralysis, either by disease or accident, and they were having such joy. And the joy they were experiencing for their families because they were out, they were connecting, they were in the sunshine, they were socializing. And it was something that opened my eyes because I was then living with paralysis and I saw this whole new side to life. And, as I mentioned in my introduction, when you get injured, you basically are stuck. And it happened so suddenly because there you are in the hospital, there you go through rehab. And rehab, after 60 days, you're out. And the first thing you come across is, and it's a surprise, is my experience was, I'm out of the hospital, I have to go home. Well, how do you go home? Do you have the appropriate vehicle? So off they put me in a accessible van and drove me home. And then the first challenge there was, how do I get into my house? I need a ramp. So right away, you're isolated from being able to go into your home. So the short story is that NAF comes beside us, and they do some of what seemingly simple but most important. They bring the modified van. They can help provide that to you. So now you have transportation. And then the ramp, building a ramp to get into your house seems simple, but now that allows you to go into your house, and then in your house with the adaption of home modifications, doorways, ramps, and other things. Now you have utilization of your house. And I should mention that, NAFs provides these services to people who really can't afford these services. Either their insurance is inadequate and doesn't pay for it, or the financial resources aren't there in your life. Now you're able to get out and get moving again. You really get back into life. That social interaction and connection that we talk about in work, how important that is. I don't know how many people are zoomed out in this day and age. I know I'm zoomed out because I'm back at my business. I'm back at my career.
One of the biggest topics right now in the HR community is mental health in the workplace. You just mentioned zoomed out. Talk a little bit about how NAF can help on the mental health side.
As humans, we thrive on relationship. We thrive on connecting relationships. And those are promoted most effectively, and I'm just talking personally, by meeting with and being with people. Yeah, it's funny hearing you talk. It reminds me of what I call the parable of the dog. I don't know if you've ever owned a dog, but I've grown up with several dogs.
I do.
And I look at kind of my circumstance as one, just like a dog, dogs just love to please. They love to be connected with people. They love the opportunity to go out and run and do things. But if you think about a dog, if you have that pet, a dog can only do according to what you permit it to do. A dog is fed when you feed it. A dog gets to go out and play when you open the door and allow it to go out. And I look at the world of living in the world of paralysis, and I am now kind of living in that same space. Being a quadriplegic, I wait for the opportunity to socialize when people come. I am fed when people choose to feed me. And when I go outside, I can look at the door and beg and whine. But it's only when my wife or others open the door to let me outside. And I look at all that total dependency that we live in. And I look at the opportunities that caregivers, spouses, friends, and then companies like NAF providing the tools and support that allow us to really connect. And as I say, connect with life, get back to life.
Well, I'm going to tell you, your positivity is inspiring. And I appreciate you sharing today, talking a little bit about just your story and what you're going through and how NAF helps others. And I just think that it's important that more people know not only your story, but how NAF can help along the way. And so if people want to find out more about NAF, they can certainly do that through neuroassistance.org. Talked about, we have the virtual run coming up. Are you going to be part of that virtual run coming up on I believe that's coming up on August the 22nd and 23rd.
Yeah, we are. And I am learning how to ride a recumbent bike again. So I am very much going to be in there competing with those that I can and having a great day.